First 3 months of going into the corporate world, I gained 30 pounds right out of the gate. 220 pounds was my heaviest. Then I realized I got to do something.
You're 50% likely to get cancer in your life. There's a lot of things that are really out of our control. What you can control is to be in the best position possible to fight it and recover from it if you do get it.
We had to do a biopsy and it's stage 2 prostate cancer. That was a year in of Supra Human. So that surgery went extremely well. I was up and around that very next weekend. What I find amazing is just how little folks want to invest in themselves.
I'm Ryan Stevens.
Dr. Taylor Waters.
I'm Ben Olliver.
Welcome to the Supra Human Show, yeah?
So we are joined by Mr. Sean Walsh. Welcome to the Supra Human Show. So for the listeners, just tell us about yourself in terms of what do you do for work? What's your fitness journey been? What was the kind of triggering moment for you to join Supra Human? And then, yeah, I'm sure I'll have some questions once we get rolling.
Yeah, for starters, I appreciate being on the show. This is fantastic. I watch you guys all the time, and to be a part of it, it's really good. My background is banking. So 30 years of cash management, of moving the payments around for the banks. As banks do a lot of things, moving money is only one small part of it, but...
Any tips?
Yeah. we got no money to move.
I can
have money to move
a fiver from here to here. God, that Sean's got an easy job.
My fitness journey, it's been really straight out of college. I was working the bar industry and running up and down the stairs and, working as a bar back and a bartender. And then the first 3 months of going into the corporate world, I was pitching and teaching a credit union package, and it would be late. It'd be like small credit unions and churches with stuff in their basements, and you're just working until 10 o'clock at night, and then you'd go eat and lay down and go to sleep. And I gained 30 pounds right out of the gate in the first 3 months and never lost it. Right? Okay. So it's always been that struggle of, and I always recognized it because I was always, fit through my entire, youngsterhood. So it's, to put on that kind of weight, and always struggled with it. And I'd go ups and downs, and a little bit what I was telling Ryan over my journey with Superhumans for the last 2 years, and the different plateaus that we got to. When we, broke 190, broke 200. Let's start there.
Yeah.
At 5'7", 220 pounds was my heaviest. And then I realized I got to do something. And then we'll get to, what triggered my my eye with what John Manson's advertising.
Yeah.
But then as, I've gone through my fitness journey and got under the 200 mark, and then under the 190 mark, and then under the 170 mark, and I'm like, I've never been this light since I've been
It's
out
incredible.
of college.
I think the 3 month weight gain that you mentioned, I feel like that's a very, very, very common thing that happens when you change roles and you go from an active job to a desk job or a sedentary one where you're in an office doing meetings and things. It's I don't have time. And of course, when you're trying to grow your career and everything, that is the priority, and you sacrifice other things. So yeah, like kind of in terms of the timeline, where was the kind of tipping point where, obviously you're hyper successful, where you were kind of looking at it saying, right, this thing is done now, but I need to start prioritizing my health and my fitness. Kind of what was that kind of turning moment? And then, like you said about the Superhuman kind of ads and things.
And you're right, over the 30 years of my career, the first 15, 20 years, it was just work, right? Work hard, play hard, didn't worry about the food, didn't worry about the alcohol and drinks, and you're doing stuff with, back in the day, it's frowned upon anymore, but you would go drinking with your staff, you get to know them. It was Friday, Saturday nights.
The Asian way. Won't do business unless you get drunk with them.
Well, yeah, and it was such and you get to learn about your staff and things, and it's just, we don't do that anymore. To the detriment, especially with, once you got through COVID, it's just a different environment. But that's how it was, and that's, to me, was what I needed to do to connect with my people. But once I got through COVID and those things are just, that isn't how people relate anymore. I'm like, well, that's how I relate. I'm like, all right, well, it's time to do that. And I never put the emphasis on the nutrition. That's the biggest part of what I've learned with Superhumans. I'll be running and working out and working really hard, but still be eating like crap, not documenting anything, not paying attention to the macros. And that was the turning point for me of having any of the weight come off.
So what age were you when you decided to make that change? 'Cause I think a lot of people, they find themselves, once they've got to a certain age, they're like, oh, well, it's done now. Like I'm too old to start this, because you're almost like embarking on a whole new avenue at whatever age did you get started?
Probably mid-40s.
Mid-40s when you start. Was when you started your fitness journey?
No, well, I would try on and off to lose weight, but not put a ton of it into it, and not totally not care, but I sacrificed, but with what I had to do in my relationships and my work versus how hard am I going to work at this when I'm putting in, 10 hours a day.
And then how old were you when you came into Supra Human?
2 years ago, so early 50s.
Okay.
So I had been trying to do a number of things. When I hit the 220 mark, that was probably 2 years before I joined, so about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, this is way too heavy.
What I was really impressed with this Sean, because obviously the trick before he was starting, obviously he was prioritizing his career, and obviously he put himself on the back burner. He actually had to prioritize his career again within the program, didn't you? Because obviously you lost your job, but his progress still remained moving in the right direction, which is one of the key things that I saw. Because what was previously that held him back happened again, but he was still able to make progress throughout all that time, which was absolutely phenomenal. And one thing he used to say to me all the time was like, winners win. I was like, where did that come from? Like, it's a great mindset. And like, you got it tattooed on his forearm.
Yeah.
Winners win.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Brilliant.
So so prior to Superhuman, when you were say 220, and it was 2 years then until you signed up with Superhuman, were you working with a personal trainer, or have you experienced anything like online coaching before? Like, so this was your first experience of it, and how was it getting lumped with a Welshman from the other side of the world?
Well, I hadn't done anything of trying to, get assistance. I mean, there's so many things out there,
Sure.
right? You guys talk about it all the time. John talks about it all the time of everything's out there for free, right? And I figured I'd, just follow it, anything that pops up, but it just wasn't getting me where I needed to be, from that perspective. And then I saw John's ad of, man, he is talking to me with the executive, and if you make this much money, because I was making the money. It's, hey, he must be talking to me, right? And then just the whole concept, because at this stage of my life, right, I've done the things, I've got the, the portfolio's all set, and the kids are all older now, and right, to look forward and to strive for something now, it's like, well, I've traveled the world, I've done everything, man. But then that, the superhuman was just the tag alone to say you're a superhuman was what really, drew me in with, and again, the messaging and the marketing that John does of what I'm struggling with. That was just, hit home, on so many different levels of me wanting to do something like that and to be, shredded, as he always says, right?
And what's the net weight loss from when you started to now? As in when you started with Superhuman to now?
55 pounds.
Down 55 pounds. And now what's the goal? Because you're down 55 pounds, Hall of Famer now coming up in October. And then what's the goal from here moving forward?
Yeah, now I want to get into the muscle
building.
Building pieces.
The fun phase.
And I know you guys are fan favorites, but Grant's one of my models to see Grant and what he had done.
Yeah.
It's
right?
good, despite his personality. He's got a great physical transformation.
As much as I don't like to say it, I wouldn't mind looking like Grant either.
Just watching what he transitioned through, and the same thing with his kids, poking his belly and doing the different things, and he's just a monster. And
That's awesome. So was there anything unexpected that you weren't expecting from Superhuman, whether it's working with Ryan or kind of anything that you've gotten out of the program which you really didn't think that it was going to be available, or just kind of like a byproduct of being in the program outside of just the physical transformation that you've got?
Yeah, without question, it's the network, right? To be a part of, when you think online, it's like, oh, how well is network going to work? It's just online. But doing these quarterly, these events and doing enough where we get the in person, and I've sat with Ryan numerous times, even though you guys are on the other side of the pond, to have that connection, to have like people wanting to do it, and it's not always working towards the same. How do you do this? How do you do that? That network is incredible. the mental performance that John does is amazing, right? And that's before you even get to any kind of the fitness pieces
Sure.
of it. Then we get into the fitness pieces of it, and the, you know, working with Ryan on an every week basis with the check-ins. So, you know, if I want to jump on a Zoom, he just throws me the schedule, and we have it booked within a day, and be able to sit there and talk through anything versus, you know, trading text, but it's fully accessible. And you guys respond so quickly.
I was about to ask. I was like, does he get back to you fast enough?
Absolutely.
Hey, speed is king.
Yeah.
And we're different time zones, right?
Yeah.
And even that is incredible of just, if I need anything, it's, you guys are, you know, and Ryan's there, and I hear the same thing from all the other superhumans when we come to these different events of just how quick you guys are, which is key. I mean, I'm a big customer service guy.
100%.
And if you're going to spend the money, you have an expectation,
Yep.
and you guys meet that expectation, and it's so hard to come by.
It's,
People are
it's
so
our-
quick to take your money.
Our number one value in the coaching department is speed is king.
Yeah.
And so it's that efficiency, especially with guys like yourself, where this stuff has to be integrated into your lifestyle because you have all of these other things that you need to prioritize as well, versus if you're waiting 2 days for a response or you can't get a hold of someone. So we do pride ourselves on that, and you know, being able to provide that for you guys.
Some people claim premium product, but it's like they don't deliver premium product. But it's like, yeah, we claim it and we deliver it.
We
every time.
Absolutely.
There's a brand of what is it? Is it like fence protector or something in the UK called Ron Seal?
Yeah.
And their slogan is just, it does what it says on the tin. And so I always like to think it's like we do what we say we're going to do.
Yes.
And which becomes less and less these days. Like
Yeah.
it's, you know, people talk a big game, but then the actual outcome is much less.
Very common.
But I like to say we kind of deliver on what we say we're going to.
The Ron Seal of Fitness.
The Ron Seal of Fitness. There we go. That's the new slogan.
New slogan.
So the last question I would have to wrap this up is if you were speaking to someone that was in a similar position, so maybe they've just kind of got to that point in their career where, you know, very, very successful, they've put on the pounds, you know, because they've had to prioritize that for a decade or two, and they're on the fence of kind of, you know, I need to make a change. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I don't know if I'm going to have time. What would your response be for someone like that?
And I get that question a lot, and it's what I find amazing is just how little folks want to invest in themselves. Right? So when you have that price tag, which I feel is important to weed out all the goofiness, that was the other exciting thing about John is, I mean, people who are serious are the only ones going to be in this. You're not going to get somebody who's, you know, fly by night kind of, yeah, it sounds kind of cool, but, and that's where I struggled with, you know, I'm from Buffalo, New York, and a lot of the different folks that I interact with, because Buffalo is, you know, 9 months of winter, that's, and eating chicken wings and drinking beer and,
In the country club.
yeah.
I was like, get rid of that country club.
But when you pitch that,
Save some money there as well.
of you know what this means and what you get for the money. That money is always such a tipping point. But I said after that, you got the network, you got the mental performance, you know, and a little bit. One of the other things that I've found of huge value is the biohacks, which is the medical piece of this, right?
Yep.
So when I got evaluated, jumping into the elite program right on day one, right, and going through that piece, I did all the blood work, which that was another amazing thing of just looking at that. Never expected that from the program as a huge extra benefit. But my PSA was high. So working with Rosie over at Biohacks, she goes, we can't do anything out of the ordinary for you other than straight supplements unless you go get your prostate checked, because that's a high PSA, anything over 4. So I'm looking. I went to my GP and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing all these things, and of course I took all the supplement pieces to my GP, and she's rolling her eyes and things, and looking at it. Well, yeah, there's nothing in there that'll hurt you, but I don't know that all this is necessary. I'm like, I just want to follow the program, right? But I said I do. One of the things that popped is my PSA. She goes, nah, that number is, you know, it fluctuates over what you eat on any given day. It's unnecessary. You don't need a checkup. So then I had my next checkup with Biohacks, and she's like, yeah, we still can't do anything for you unless you go get an MRI and get the prostate checked. I'm like, I get it. So I went back and had to struggle again with my GP. So I said, listen, I'm asking for it. My dad had prostate cancer. I'm over 50. She goes, yeah, you're right. It's time. Same thing. I went into the urologist. He's giving me grief. I don't know what you need to be doing all this. I'm like, all right, well, I'm here. Can we just at least do the checkup? Oh, yeah, you have a nodule. Okay. Yeah. And then we had to do a biopsy, and it's stage 2 prostate cancer. I'm like, yeah, you guys are giving me all this grief, right? So that having that biohacks is a secondary check-in on everything that you're doing medical-wise. Now, again, the huge benefit of that was a year in of Superhumans. So that surgery went extremely well, right? So I had it removed a month later after the diagnosis. I was up and around that very next weekend and moving around, and some of the other guys at the country club who aren't in as good a shape that I was, even a year, I've even come down in weight and more fit over the next year here with Superhumans. But those guys struggled dearly, and they're like, "Oh man, maybe I had the wrong doctor." I'm like, some of this is just one winner's win is the attitude, right? And second is just to be a part that much healthier and. Had that not been the case, I don't know how those things would have fared for me, right?
Oh, you can. It's very, very confident in saying that your ability to recover from an operation like that is going to be heavily dictated by your level of fitness, isn't it?
We spoke about that on a previous podcast where I think it's like 50% now. You're 50% likely to get cancer in your life, and so there's a lot of things that are really out of our control. But what you can control is to be in the best position possible. To fight it and recover from it if you do get it. And if there's a 50% chance, everyone should be trying to get as fit and healthy as possible to put themselves in that situation. But Sean, thank you so much for jumping on the show, and congratulations on the Hall of Fame this year, and look forward to seeing you at SHX.
I'm looking forward to handing you the jersey.
This was super good. I really appreciate you guys.
Amazing.
No problem at all. Thank you.
If you love this show, please like, share, and leave us a 5-star review so that we can help more people. I'm John Madsen, reminding you to always go get what's yours.